play. Please welcome your host for this morning, Eric Zai.
Alright, what's up everybody? I hope you guys are excited, because I'm excited. That's right, we're coming to you right here at Globe Tower, right here in BGC again. What a privilege it is to be here amongst all of you guys. You know what? We have one thing in common, and that's definitely gaming. Gaming industry, esports in general, has excelled so much to a point of when I was playing, when I was in my younger days, and I'm sure you guys have. Let's go through a little exercise. I gotta get everybody to stand up. Since it's the morning, this is the morning, I gotta get everyone to stand up. Everyone to stand up. First of all, we got some of the biggest names here today. Biggest organizations, biggest companies. A round of applause, guys. A round of applause. Biggest companies, biggest names in the gaming esports industry today. We are witnessing truth. We're witnessing and establishing, building the future of esports. You know why I'm so emotional? Grabe. When I was on Showtime, I'm supposed to be on stage hosting. Sometimes I was caught because I was playing video games in the back. I brought my laptop. I'm so emotional about this because I've been such a gamer when I was young. I'm sure you guys can say that. When I say emotional, this is what I mean. Muntik kami divorce ng asawa ko. We almost broke up because she came from Seattle. She goes, I came here to be with you. Why are you spending so much time on that laptop or in the internet cafe? Bakit? Saan ang pagmamahal, diba? I'm like, I'm sorry, because I wouldn't say addiction. I'm not addicted. You're not addicted. We're passionate. We're passionate, right? We're passionate about what we play and what we do and what we believe in. And look at it today. Look where we are today. Today is a big, gigantic step. I wouldn't even say step. We're not walking. We're running right now. We are running into the future building of esports here in the Philippines. So anyway, long story short, just to cut that, we did it because she knows and sees the potential of esports here in the Philippines. What a blessing. A round of applause, everybody. So now, let's get to the real part. So without further ado, we got so many blessed, so many distinguished guests, partners, I should say, that are here today with us. And first, let us introduce and acknowledge Globe's President and CEO, Mainong Sowedding Dili, Mr. Ernest Koo. MX Chief Commercial Officer, Mr. Albert De Larazabal. Next we have Senior Vice President for Content Business, Mr. Nico Acosta. I would also like to welcome all our friends from the gaming industry, especially one that I've worked with so many times over the last couple of years. From Riot, their Managing Director, from Greater China and Southeast Asia, Mr. Johnson Yang. Thank you very much, Brian. And now, let's move on to Garena, which is handled by the Vice President for Group Game Operations, Mr. Jason Ung. See, it's just like the Avengers. We're all combining, you know? Just like Mr. Thanos right there. And last, but certainly not the least, is the first time I've been to an event where these guys are present. I must say, this is a privilege to have you guys here from GAP, Games and Amusement Board of the Philippines. Attorney Irmar Benitez. Attorney General Abao. And Miss Cynthia Daniel. Thank you very much for being here with us. Witnessing a legacy that is about to be built. So as I was saying, just like it says here, you know, we are creating gaming heroes, building the future of esports. And today, a dynasty has been created. And that's because of you guys, these wonderful people that are here, because they believe in the vision. They see it. Because they know the potential of esports, not just here in the Philippines, globally, internationally. And as you saw in the video earlier, who wants to go to the World Championship, right? We want to see the Philippines on the map. We would also like to mention Mr. Ronald Robbins. Thank you, Mr. Ronald, good to see you again. I didn't see because you're guaponess, but thank you for being here with us also. So I'm sure you guys are asking, what is the purpose and why are we here today? Anong layunin? Anong dahilan? You know? We all come from different walks of life. I'm from New Zealand, Australia. I play games just like yourself. You might be from China. You might be from the Philippines. You might be from the US, or wherever you may be. We're all here gathered. We're all chosen. We're all champions. We're all challengers. And one thing that I want to put out, I see some of my friends there representing AOV. These guys, they train just like how much we work. We go to our daily jobs, 9 to 5 or maybe even more, 12-hour shifts. These players, these challengers, they do the same. They're like athletes. From my background, I used to be a Philippine volcano. I say used to because I'm a little older now. I gotta let the younger guys play the way. But people don't know how much time, effort, passion for the love of the game, as our hashtag is, hashtag for the love, Globe Gaming, that we have to invest in to become a professional player. But I tell you one thing, I've seen so many kids, young kids, 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, in somewhere in Bulacan at an internet cafe, and they are some of the best players in the Philippines. But we're scouting them now. This is the potential of Philippine gaming or esports here in our country. We got these guys, we got these athletes, we got to just scout them out, bring them to life, give them a job, become an athlete of the Philippines. Just like us as a Philippine Volcanoes rugby team, we train hard. We go in there, we put in the physical effort. As an athlete here in esports, it's similar. You have to be actively strong, mentally strong, not just physically strong. You gotta get it all. And I'm sure those guys will. Is it Brent Sports? There we go, Brent Sports from AOV. They're hoping to take out Velo Cup 2, which we'll be talking about later on. But that's what we want to show and tell you guys today, that this is an international market. This is the building of esports. We're creating something great, and we are here to be a part of this and witness history as a partnership, right? As a partnership. We have Riot, we have Mineski, we have Globe, we have Garena, we have them all here for the first time here in one building, right here, right now. So, I gotta move on, I gotta heat up, I gotta get my towel and wipe my sweat off. But we want to ask someone very, very important today, not just for you guys, but for me as my new mom. We would like to call upon, for a few words and encouragement, Globe's President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ernest Koo.
Thank you. Thanks, Eric. So much energy that got the room all heats up. But anyway, hey, today's turnout's an indication I think we've got a big hit. So why don't we get some of the guys to move over here, if you guys are okay. If you guys can see, there's some seats and space over there. Please feel welcome to go and move around. Well, today I think it's very historic, right? You know, for esports in the Philippines. I don't think there's been this kind of resource and combination that's been put together to be able to promote esports in the Philippines. You know, as Globe, we always look for what our consumers' preferences are. We look and examine how their habits are shifting, how their usage is going, and there is no doubt that esports is one of the things that they want to do. So, you know, typical to what we do, we take out of our playbook in video and music. We look at that, we dip our toes in the water with a few sponsorships, trying to learn the space. Then we look at the array of partners available, and then check them out and see who's popular, who's great, who's doing the great things out there. And then see who's willing. Because partnership is all about a two-way thing. They gotta have the spirit, the passion, and the drive, and the willingness to work with someone like us and put the combination together. Just like when we did for video with Netflix, with Disney, right? They saw the value of partnering with a company like Globe. One with marketing reach, one with the financial strength, one with a desire to serve up the Filipino digital lifestyle, and then come together and build something great. Elevate the Filipino into the world stage. You know, I think we've had one indication of that. Recently, we brought the first Filipino full-length movie into Netflix on March 26th. A film called Birdshot, right? Through Globe Studios. And many more coming in the works. Now we have the ambition to bring esports, Philippine esports, into the world stage as well. As they say, create gaming heroes, right? Filipinos love heroes. You know, and of late, I can only remember today one significant sports hero, and that's Senator Manny Pacquiao, right? And you remember EDSA clears out the only time ever in a non-Christmas or Good Friday, you can lie down on EDSA when Manny Pacquiao is fighting. Unfortunately, his career is about to end, or ended, or whatever, it depends on the opinion. But, you know, it's time to bring on a new set of heroes for this country. This country also does not have, you would say, a sports culture. When you go to the US, you see there's so many people watching sports. In Europe, football. Really rabid fans of that particular genre. Right? In the US, you got basketball, you got baseball, you got football, you got hockey. You know, you got so many sports all over the place for people to enjoy and rally around, favorite teams, right? And so much money being flowed into it. You know, you see NBA teams being sold for a couple of billion US dollars, right? That's only a fledgling team. If you get a team like the Lakers or the Cavaliers now or the Warriors, that's going to be the multi-billion US dollar game. But we have not had that success in the Philippines. Why not? You know, so I think today, by this combination, you know, we chose the best in the business, right? With Arena, with Riot, the leading game, League of Legends, to be here in the Philippines. I think this is the time to do it. You know, Globe, with all of its resources, commits to actually making a very big attempt. I'm not saying we're going to be successful here. We don't know. Right? Again, I'm a novice in this. By the way, I have to admit, I only downloaded Arena of Valor last night at a cocktail party. That's because I was telling someone about this event and I said, shit, man, I have not even tried this game. You know, my son is a gamer, I'm not. Right? And so somebody here told me that now I know why you were downloading that game last night. You know, so I think to actually be good at developing something, you've got to be into it. And so, you know, with all of you, Globe commits a lot of its resources. It commits its playbook. You know, remember we brought Spotify to the Philippines. It changed the world of music in the Philippines. We took out the illegal use of music single-handedly by the bringing of Spotify to this country, the partnership. We brought video streaming into the limelight in this country. And now we want to bring esports into the forefront of gaming. And we hope that through the government support as well, you'll be able to support us and help us in making this succeed and bring the first Filipino esports gaming talent into the world stage. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you very much, Sir Ernest. And as he said, there's a time and season in all things right now. And today, it's time. So right now, we would like to call upon our next guest speaker right now. We'd like to call him on stage from Greater China and Southeast Asia, Mr. Johnson Ye.
Thank you, everyone. great to have this opportunity to speak to everyone and highlight the importance of eSport and the importance of this global partnership. So when the host was opening, he actually made me think of something. Like, why is eSport such an attractive phenomenon, especially in Asia? And then, what I actually found out over the last few years is, think about the mass participation sports around the world. Not like ping pong or like badminton. Like, think about the soccers, like basketballs of the world. Yes, you can add cricket, but where is a mass participation sport where East Asians are really good at it? It's really hard to think of it. But here, in eSport, I think that it's not about physical ability. It's actually anyone can win. No matter what your background is, no matter where your, what your physical ability is, these eSport players, they train 12, 14 hours a day. But it takes a different skill set than most other sports. But it sells the same dream. It sells the same amount of aspiration as any sport. That if you work hard, if you have the intrinsics, you don't need to be physically very strong, and you can still succeed. And to me, that's what the attractiveness of eSport is in this region. It gives every one of us a dream that we can truly try to fulfill. So eSport has really came to the center stage over the last few years. Just in China last year alone, League of Legends eSport, we broadcasted more than 3 billion hours of eSport content. And that takes us to the level of an NBA or a Chinese basketball level. And we feel like this is not where we stop. We're here to make eSport a global phenomenon. You probably heard that eSport is already going to be part of the Asian Games in 2022. It's actually being in the discussion with IOC, potentially for Paris 2024 in the Olympics. So eSport is really becoming, a real phenomenon. But in order for this to happen, we need every kind of support possible. And that's why I'm so excited today to be here, because our collaboration with Globe, as part of our Southeast Asian tourney, to have the Manila Open this year, which will have our World Championship implications for League of Legends, is such an important step. Because for it to be a sport, right, it needs to be truly recognized globally. And eSport has been huge. It started, in Korea, US, Europe, has all been part of major regions. China is where our biggest viewership is. But Southeast Asia, this entire region of 600 million population, we feel like this is the next step. This is the region that we really want to conquer for eSport. And we already have a great foundation here. And with partners like Globe to work together with us in cultivating the audience, in making the players excited about eSport, that's what it's going to really take to take eSport to the next stage. So I'm really excited about this partnership. I feel like an innovative partner like Globe will really take us forward. So for the gamers in the world, for everyone who loves Asian participation into mass sports, for all the dreamers in the world, let's shape this together. Let's make eSport the most legitimate, one of the most legitimate sports. Let's work together on this. Thank you, everyone.
That's right. Round of applause. Thank you very much, Johnson. Thank you, sir. Privilege to have you. And as he said, we could be part of the SEA Games. So we got to start preparing, start becoming athletes. You guys in Pilipinas, alam niyo na. We're going to mark that, put that mark on the map. Philippines will be there, and we're going to bring it. And that's a definite. So next we'll have in, to give us a few words, we'll have Garena's Vice President for Group Game Operations, Mr. Jason Ang. Round of applause.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making the time to be with us today. I believe everyone that follows gaming and esports in Philippines and Southeast Asia will know that Garena have long been supporters of gaming and esports, not only here but across Southeast Asia. Way back in 2010, even before we started the very first League of Legends server in Singapore, we actually flew a team of Filipinos from here to Singapore to participate in qualifiers for the World Cyber Games that were happening in Los Angeles that year. Nobody knew what they were doing back then, right? 2010, no server, and they were very early days. Unfortunately, the Filipino team didn't make it that day, but there's always another chance. Sometime later, we actually filmed the entire event. So if you don't believe me, we actually have it on YouTube until today, so you can go check it out. In 2012, Garena said, hey, let's do something a bit more serious. So we started the first inter-regional, fully professional League of Legends league in the form of the Creat Premier League. This is way before anyone else did any of this. And along with that, we created the first professional Filipino League of Legends team, the Manila Eagles, those of you that will remember. And then further on, as the ecosystem matured, we expanded even further. Country-specific leagues, campus tournaments, all-female tournaments, and always pushing out into new communities that had never experienced organized play. This was always a big part of our mantra, making sure esports is available to everybody. It's always been our dream, our goal, to elevate esports to the next level, and we believe the announcements we have today do exactly that. Let me start first with League of Legends. So we're extremely happy to be working with Globe, Mineski and Riot, other partners on the Globe Conquers Manila. So this is slated to happen in August, and it is the biggest prize pool event we've ever seen, not only in Philippines, but across the entire Southeast Asia. And we're going to give away a cool $250,000 US to all the teams that show up. So this is big money. It will also be held at the Moa Arena, the biggest venue we've ever had for League of Legends in Philippines. So I'll be very excited about that. You should be too. And we'll see the very best teams from Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia vying for a direct spot to the League of Legends World Championships later this year. And this is to declare a direct spot, right? Previous years we had to go through the wildcard qualifiers, and Riot being willing to give us a direct spot is a very strong recognition of the strength of esports in the region, and we thank you for that. A team from Mineski, actually people don't know, a team from Mineski back in 2013 were the first and the last Filipino team to stand on the world stage at the League of Legends World Championship back in 2013. And I certainly hope that the Globe Conquers Manila will spur another Filipino team to once again stand on the global stage against the very best League of Legends teams in the world. In addition to the Globe Conquers Manila, we have a few other initiatives that we're working on with Globe that we will announce very shortly, so stay tuned for that. I'll switch now to Arena of Valor. So if we spoke to someone back in 2010, just a scant 8 years ago, about mobile gaming, they would have probably thought you were thinking more about a Nintendo DS or maybe playing Minesweeper on your laptop, right? That's what mobile gaming used to be back then. And today, mobile gaming esports are more mainstream and more popular than ever before. A big part of that has been everyone having a device that can play awesome games. But an even bigger part has been the advent of fast, reliable, ubiquitous, and affordable internet access, such as that provided by Globe, right? So I never imagined that my mom would get into Candy Crush and be so addicted to it. I never imagined my auntie would be going around chasing Pokemons in Pokemon Go, but that's the world we live in today. And since launching Arena of Valor last October in Philippines, we've seen an immense reaction from Filipino gamers. We had our first Valor Cup recently across Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. And we saw over 170 teams from Philippines sign up. This is by far the largest of any single country. The finals for the event were held in the Trinoma Mall up in Quezon City. And we had over 1,500 fans show up to cheer their teams on. And they were not disappointed because in the grand finals we had 2 Filipino teams. And eventually the team Will New Era emerged victorious. Big congratulations to them. Our partners at Globe were instrumental in helping us source the venue and also provide internet access. So thank you very much as well. And as an illustration of how fast and how mature mobile esports is today, we had the Arena of Valor International Championship in Seoul last year. The prize pool was a very cool $500,000 US. This year, for the AOV World Cup happening in November actually, the prize pool is 550,000 US dollars. So this is how far mobile esports has come today as well. Very fast change. On the back of success of the Valor Cup, we are very happy to be working with Globe on the next few Valor Cups. And not only will they be the official sponsor, but they're also bringing their content production, event organization expertise to the table. And we firmly believe this will provide even more engaging and exciting experiences for viewers and bigger and better tournaments for our players as well. And we have some exciting announcements for AOV specifically. So for the next month or so, anyone who purchases Globe's GoPro GoSurf 999 bundle will receive the hero Superman, yes, that Superman, absolutely free in their AOV account. So I don't have to tell you how awesome Superman is because he's Superman. So this is clearly an awesome deal. In addition, for the next 12 months, anyone that purchases any of Globe's GoSurf bundles will get free in-game items as well. So such as free rentals of free heroes. So look out for that. So we at Arena are very happy, very excited, and thankful to our friends and partners at Globe, Riot, Mineski for willing to put together their energy, their time, their resources to help grow gaming and esports here in the Philippines. Without them, gaming and esports will not be where they are today, and we certainly will not be able to bring forward all these new and exciting initiatives. Some might say we have come a long way, and I'll be the first to agree. At the same time, I believe we have a much longer road ahead for us to go. And we want to make gaming, esports even more mainstream than boxing, than basketball in the Philippines today. And to make gaming a career where it's as respected and as viable as any other career. I believe today marks a big step forward in that very direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jason. Thank you. Thank you, Garena. Just a little bit about what happened with Garena. Last year, I went to the Internationals, the AIC 2017. To represent the Philippines. It was a show match. Guess what? You think we won? Nah, we got smoked. We got hammered by the best of China and the best of Korea. And I think we got 1 or 2 kills. And they obliterated us. But that's just the potential of gaming. How great these people, these kids, these athletes, they train so hard just to be at the peak of their game. But thank you very much, Garena and Riot, for organizing AIC 2017. It's in my books, in my diary, that we lost. But yes, it was great for the Philippines to go over there for Arena of Valor. But now, next part, we would like to hear something very special today, and it's great to see you again. Mineski Corporation CEO, Roman Robbins.
Hey, good morning, everybody. 15 years ago, I had a dream. It was a simple dream. I was asleep, and I saw myself putting up the world trophy of the game that I was playing at that time. So I started as a gamer myself. For the first 5 years here in the Philippines, all gamers at that time experienced frustration. There was nothing in it for esports. It was unclear. It was something that my parents were not proud of, nor other gamers were not certain to pursue. So in the first part of the 5 years, it was all about making us stronger, realizing how do we reach that point, how do we become world champions. The next 5 years of our journey, I throw away my personal dream and started to build infrastructure of what we can. So we started building events, leagues, cyber cafes. We wanted to help other players. I already know at that time I was already too old to be a world champion. I was already banking on the new guys. So what do I do? What do we do to start this off? So it came to a point that we are very focused on building the esports infrastructure with the means and resources that we have. Eventually led us to the past 5 years where we were already trend-setting Southeast Asia on what we have done. We have brought in regional events since 2013 in the Philippines. We have expanded our operations in multiple countries. We have learned a lot. It's vice versa. Eventually made us travel around, understand what esports was all around the globe. And then I realized actually everybody's starting off at the same time. Usually Philippines always comes in late. So I saw a very big opportunity whereby esports globally is actually at par. When I thought, when we just started, we idealized this is how Korea did it, this is what's happening there. But now, in most aspects, we just need to build the right things and work with the right partners. Moving forward, I see partnering with Globe, Garena, Riot, and a lot more companies. It brings more synergy, resources together that will really make things happen. Esports is undeniably growing, and it's gonna get there. Question is when and how are we gonna get there? So we then realized that we can only do so much. So we have to do a lot more because this is not just for us, but this is for the whole gaming community. And every day that number just adds up and adds up. It's crazy on how this is growing, this whole industry. Moving forward to the plans that we have, I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose, but we have a lot of cool things ahead that we plan to do. Some unconventional approaches. As I mentioned, we have been traveling a lot because in a lot of countries in Southeast Asia, a lot of companies actually come to consult also what's in our mind and what's next on what needs to be done, on how to see the industry, not to see it as a business that you just go in and out fast. We always see it long term. Someday I want to see somebody, may it be an esport athlete or new things that are to arise even within the esport industry, may it be a genre, to really raise that trophy and bring pride to our region, specifically Philippines. So there are certain projects that are in place that I'm sure that makes me excited, it makes me not be able to sleep at night actually. Things that we only dreamed of doing before, totally new aspects, academies, bring up new players professionally with experience that we had. Winning global tournaments is not just basically building a team. You need to know how to win. It's not just having a mission support, having coaches or building. There's a culture there that we must implement. Upon building the entire industry, it must be embedded as we communicate to the next generation how to win. We're not just here to play. If you want to be world champions, there's a culture that we need to put in. It's like China. Very young, they train athletes to become champions. How they are mentored, how they are coached, how they are being brought up by their parents actually already varies if you're built to win and succeed. And that's what we're here for. We want to win. We want to be in the world map. We want to be a dominant force. I personally hate the fact that Asia always loses in sports because we're very small or we cannot compete. But not this time. This is a fair ground. We're here to win. Let's make this happen.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Roms. Thank you. Malaking respeto sa iyo because Beneski were one of they're the pioneers, I have to say. Pioneers of esports. They put us on the map. They've won in different types of competitions. At Seabrom's gamer in it. He started from scratch. He knows what is needed to build the future here of esports. So thank you very much, sir. Respect. Now we're going to do something different, guys. Everyone's probably got some questions that they're on their mind. They want to ask questions that will be answered by some of our prestige guests. And we have one visitor all the way from London who is coming and joined us. So now we would like to call upon all our special speakers, our guests, to come back on stage. Mr. Roms, Jason Ang, Johnson Ye, and also to be joined by our beloved Globe's Head of Content Business Group, Nico Acosta, and Globe's Head of Games and Esports, Jake San Diego. Round of applause. So if you'd like to join us on stage, please take your seat. It's your turn to be on the hot seat. Chat, thank you very much for being with us also. This is a panel discussion, questions that have aroused in your mind. This is your chance to ask them. But here we're joined by someone very, very significant in the esports world, not just here in the Philippines. This is a global representative right here. He's an esports expert, a writer and producer, and the commercial manager of Esports Insider, a leading industry-focused news site and events company. Ladies and gentlemen, making the long trip all the way from London, as I said, to join us here today, here in the Philippines, here at Globe Tower. This is it, a monumentous event. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Mark Mantle. And I'm going to hand over to you. The mic, Mark, the stage is yours.
Mabuhay. Kumusta po? How's everyone going? Yeah, good? So, quick raise of hands. Who has an idea what esports are? Come on, show me. Oh, 3 people. Damn. Okay, so I guess I'll explain basically what it is. From Esports Insider, the way we explain what esports are, it's participating in, promoting of, or watching competitive video games. Very simple. I used to be a competitor myself a long time ago. I went into promoting esports by LAN parties and stuff like that. And now I'm just a simple spectator. I love watching games, and whoever puts them on, that's what I enjoy the most. As when I just said a minute ago, I'm a bit too old to play now. But I'm definitely old enough to watch and to help other people do so. So, I think our entire panel here doesn't need an introduction, but just in case, we'll give them a chance to speak. So, Jake.
Hi everyone, I'm Jake San Diego. I head the games division here in Globe.
My name is Eddie Sham. I'm the general manager for MED International now.
Hello, I'm Nico. I head the content business for Globe. And I'm bringing this chair to my place on the 28th floor. This is how my executive chair, official chair.
My name is John Zhe. I run Riot Games for the region of Greater China and Southeast Asia.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm the product owner for League of Legends for Creat.
Thank you guys. So, as I talked about a minute ago, one of the main focuses in esports is the consumers and the people who are watching, what we call the users and the fans. So it's important for me to understand from one of the leading developers in the esports realm. So if I can just see him, Mr. Johnson. From Riot's perspective, can you tell me a little bit about how the user experience plays a part in your global strategy, if that makes sense?
Sure. In fact, user experience is everything. Riot actually have a vision that we want to be the most player-focused gaming company in the world, and that's why we actually invested so much into esports. Esport, has been a phenomenon for about 20 years now. Starting with a lot of LAN parties, smaller tournaments, but actually we're one of the people that invested tens of millions of dollars to make esport a real professional and competitive sport. And why do we do it? It's because it's players' experience. Players like to watch esport. Outside of the time that they play the game itself, they want a different form of entertainment where they can watch, on their bus, to work, or just on their bed without sitting on their desk, for example. So essentially, what I think esport means is that esport is on such a rise because the players want it, because this is the user experience they want, because they want to have use cases beyond just playing the game. And that's what user experience is in esport.
Fair enough. So, going forward, obviously we're all here at the Globe Tower. It's important for the audience to understand just exactly what you guys are trying to do. So, Jack and Nico, can you tell us, keeping, again, the audience in mind, what you're trying to achieve for your commitment into esports as a whole?
First of all, thank you for that. First of all, Glow responds to a purpose. Our conviction is to make create a world where everybody will be treated properly, treated right. And that starts with a very, very intimate knowledge of our consumer wants and what their needs are going in terms of evolving. And we have identified that the evolving need towards gaming and esports is an opportunity for us to bring everybody together in one ecosystem. So our commitment now translates from that purpose into, number one, creating the infrastructure for people to be able to play their favorite game either through wireless or our evolving broadband business, which is becoming more and more similar to our mobile business, the preferred brand in the ecosystem. Second, we also have to make sure that the infrastructure is matched with the right commercial offerings. And we have very important data bundles that we're going to talk about later, which was touched on earlier, so that we're able to match the proper game with the right commercial offering. And third is to choose the right partners. It won't work if, admittedly, we know that Globe is very strong as a player here in the industry, as a digital enabling platform, but we also need to extend where the expertise would be. And our partners, Garina, Mabinetsky, Ryan, provide that. And that is one whole ecosystem that brings us together. And I think one more to close it out is what Ronald earlier mentioned. With all of this commercial models, infrastructure, and the right partnership, we create a culture of winning that allows us to envision that one of these days, very soon, we will be the proper and most dominant player in the esports gaming, not only in Asia, but also globally. And that is a dream that we will execute starting today.
Just to add to what Nico has said, Nico's marching orders to me actually is when I shared to him that in the Asian Olympics in 2022 and the Olympics in Paris in 2024, esports is being considered as one of the demo games. His marching orders was for Globe to be able to contribute in bringing back the first esports Olympic gold to the Philippines. So we know that we cannot do that on our own, and that's why we partnered with the best game titles and the best esports organizers to be able to promote esports, raise the bar in terms of how competitive the play of Filipino esports enthusiasts would be. And that is why, as you can see behind me, the key visual we have are made out of tournament brackets that lead towards the center, where we are going to create the gaming heroes of tomorrow.
Fair enough. Looking forward to it. So you guys touched upon one very vital element, which is the infrastructure. And someone who's no stranger to infrastructure in esports is Jason. I'd like to get your opinion on what makes a healthy ecosystem for you, from your perspective.
That's a very broad question, and I would say that a healthy ecosystem definitely is one where everyone, as a very base minimum, has a way to play. It's accessible. So we've definitely made a lot of efforts into making sure that we have community events for everyone, like in terms of location, in terms of, let's say, your age, whether you're in school, whether you're a girl. So we've always been very deliberate about expanding the types of tournaments that we have and making sure that we don't overly focus on one area without, I would say, sacrificing another. When we were first starting, we were quite naive about it and just say, as long as we take care of the top, everything else should be fine, right? But we realized that it's important to take care of the pros, yes, but you need an entire funnel so that people play at first for fun with friends. If they find that they're good at it, they get identified, they get pushed up into the next level, and the next level, and the next level. Before you know it, you're on the lower stage. And that's just from a player's perspective. a healthy ecosystem also requires a way for viewers to enjoy what the gamers are doing as well. So a big part of that has been working with content providers who can provide exciting content like yourself. And a big part is presenting in a way that gamers can feel is exciting and is relatable. When we first started, we just like, oh, we just put the game out there and then people watch it and they understand. We're like, nobody understands what's going on, right? So then we invested in doing shoutcasting, and nobody knew how to do shoutcasting, so we developed our own. We developed our own broadcasting capabilities. We started showcasing players' faces, their reactions, the emotional component of esports, and then contextualizing it, so that people understood why there was an awesome play, why this player is so much you care about. So all these components feed into a healthy esports ecosystem, so there's a lot that goes into it.
The check's in the mail, by the way. Thank you very much. So, thanks for that. So Danny, obviously you guys have partnered with Globe pretty recently, and you're obviously expanding through that now. What do you generally look for in a brand or a company in terms of partnerships? And also, cheeky question, do you mind telling us how this partnership came to life?
Nowadays, if you treat esports as a sport, so of course, we are always great to see that big company like Globe are really investing for this industry, because in the truth, esports is very new industry. I think I always explain to even my mother cannot understand I joined the esport company. Maybe you think I will put in jail, I do something illegal. This is my mother's first question to me. When she knows I transfer job to university. Okay. So, I think it's too new to make everybody understand. So, somehow we are always trying to look forward that the big company are really willing to invest this industry for long-term vision, not only for just 3 days events or for one season tournaments. So basically today everyone just see the visual that we really collaborate with Globe as this deal, but basically we initially this project is Globe 3 years ago. So actually it's a very long journey, and we are happy to see that finally it's happening, and we spend a lot of time to discuss all the ways how we grow the esports industry in Philippines. So I think we believe that we can make things better.
Okay, fair enough. So before I get to your questions, I'm going to be a bit greedy, sorry about that, and ask the entire panel, starting with Nico, what are you the most excited about in the next couple of months or year for what you guys are doing here at Globe?
I think that Danny already pointed out that this has been a long journey. I wish you would say all of this happened 24 hours and everything's good. But it's a long journey, and at the end of the journey, I'm most excited about is to show that Filipinos can excel. Whether it's definitely gold medals in the works, but that culture of winning, making and driving towards a purpose of creating something valuable across this community, something to be proud of through esports and gaming, and where all of us can partner all together and collaborate to make that dream happen. That is the most exciting thing that I have. And I envision one of these days, if Ronald had the dream earlier, I would say one of the visions or aspirations I would say is that a winning person or a winning team would say, these guys helped me get this medal. And that is the dream that I'm most excited about.
I guess I'll go over to Johnson. What are you looking for?
So what I'm really looking for is esports to really take root here in this region in Southeast Asia. I hope that the Globe deal is just the beginning. I hope that in every country in Southeast Asia we can have a partner, someone like Globe that can be working together so that we can together make this industry big. I mean, esport, we don't want it to be a country phenomenon. We don't want it to be a regional phenomenon. We want it to be a global sport. So in order for that to happen, we need strong partners who will be hosting, the majors, the minors, different tournaments, and supporting us with the infrastructure, and then reaching the players and letting our players know about the attractiveness of the sport.
Okay, so Jason, do you want to follow on with that? What are you most looking forward to in the next couple of months, years?
I'm just going to go back to the basics, right? I'm just looking forward to more awesome games on League of Legends, rather more awesome to step forward, take up the mantle of doing Philippines proud, right? It's my country too, in some way. Right? So I'm just looking forward to enjoying the fruits of what we could produce today myself. That's very selfish about it.
Every country, when they start something fundamental, like a grassroots program like this, of course, everybody tries to build up a new start in the future. And I'm very excited to see more Filipino esports players can really play in the world stage. Because now actually for certain titles, they already export a lot of professional players to other countries. Yeah, so we believe based on this deal with Globe, Royal, and Arena, we are able to generate more future stars on world stage.
Finally, Jake.
Yeah, mine is very simple. Of course, I'm very excited about the upcoming Valor Cup, the upcoming Globe Conquers Manila. But as we implement our partnership and bring esports more into the mainstream, what I'm really excited about are the stories that are going to come out from the average Joes who play computer games in internet cafes or in their homes or while they're commuting to school or to their work. I'm excited to learn about those stories, and eventually I'm sure it's going to lead to having the first Filipino super esports athlete into a Manny Pacquiao or a LeBron James that would shine in the world stage.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that one. I'm a big defender of the grassroots movement around the world in esports. We always seem to look for at the top, the big leagues, the big players, the big things, but let's never forget the smaller people, the young up-and-comers. Any way or any person or group or company, whatever, is helping the younger to come up through the ranks into the global scale, then you have my eternal respect. So that's enough from me. I'm going to send the microphone over to anyone in the crowd who has a burning question. Do I have a minion to bring a microphone to the man in orange over there, if you please?
There's a mic right here.
There's a microphone.
I'm blind, sorry.
Hello, I'm Vincent Nelson from BabyGeeks.com, and this question is more specifically for Riot. Since with the current plans with your partnership with Globe, and one of the burning questions League of Legends players have here is, will we see a bigger Riot presence in the Philippines, or will it be more of like in the background with Garena in the forefront?
Very good question. In fact, Garena is our very valued partner and publisher in the region. And what we've actually been in discussion with them is how do we best serve the players in the region? And what we actually believe is that Garena is in the best place to serve in terms of player-facing activities. So Riot will definitely still be in the region, but we're going to let Garena handle the player-facing matters while we stay in the background and work together with Garena to make sure that the players in the region and the esports viewers in the region have the best experience. So it will still be very much a collaboration model with Garena in the forefront.
To add to that, since with the current situation in the local esports scene, what would we be expecting, especially from Garena, for the other tournaments, since we have the current, shall we say, guarding of the local esports scene?
Sorry, by guarding, could you
regarding especially the athletes and the licensing issues and all those things that has been raised, especially in recent months.
It's like a licensing.
For the esports athletes with
what can they expect? Is it basically?
Yeah.
So I would say the first thing that they can expect is that, well, we happen to have a pretty big tournament coming up, right? So it's an open tournament. If you're capable, able, and committed, right, please come forward, form a team, and take home as much of the $250,000 as you can. I think that would be a definitive first step in terms of what we are offering and putting on the table. We are also in discussions with Globe as well on some other initiatives. So we're not quite ready to announce exactly what they are right now. I think our friends at Dynasty may have given you certain hints as to where we might be going. But we definitely do have plans to provide more to the Philippines. And if you look towards what has happened in some other countries in Southeast Asia and the Creat regions, I think you wouldn't be too surprised as to what might be possible. Some examples, no guarantees, right? Just some examples of what we have done before in other regions have been things like I personally interviewed Korean coaches that we planted in Taiwan and we planted in Vietnam several years ago. And I think as a league player, you probably see for yourself how those regions have moved forward a little bit ahead of the others. We've also now broadcast games in certain regions like Taiwan and Vietnam from a dedicated stadium. We'll be very excited and definitely considering options and how we can make it feasible in every single country across Southeast Asia, particularly Philippines as well. So these are just some of the things that we are always constantly thinking about. How can we make things that we know work happen in places like the Philippines? And a lot of it is just coming down to a function of can we find partners like Globe and other like-minded people so that we can bring forth these things, make it a reality for the gamers. Does that answer your question?
Sorry, last question. Sorry if I'm hogging the mic. Will we see, since currently League of Legends has a lot of tournaments aside from the major ones that we're having, will we see a passing on of the same tournaments for Arena of Valor? Like for example, will AOV get a collegiate cup? Will it get those kinds of tournament structures for the future?
So moving on to AOV, we definitely have taken our first step forward with the Battle Cup. And as a matter of fact, we do already have, not here yet, but campus tournaments in other countries like Taiwan. We have several hundred teams at the campus level in Taiwan showing up. And I think we want to make sure that every event that we do is buttoned up, well run, and make sure that that's great before we move on to the next level. So it's definitely something we are thinking about expanding as well, but we want to make sure that we get it right before we try to do too much and then everything's not so great.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Anyone else with one burning question?